In this lab, we will learn about SQL stored procedures and functions. SQL stored procedures and functions are very important components of SQL programming. If we have a task that we need to perform on a regular basis, repeatedly, then it would be very beneficial if we create a stored procedure or a function to do it. By doing it, we can better manage our SQL code. On some occasions, we can also improve our code performance. So what's the difference between SQL stored procedures and functions? Generally speaking, with SQL stored procedures, we can process transactions, we can have insert and update statements, we can use try-catch to handle errors, but we cannot use stored procedures with SQL select statements. On the other hand, with functions, we cannot process transactions, we cannot have insert and update statements, we cannot use try-catch to process errors, but we can use functions with SQL select statements, and that's a huge advantage. When we define stored procedures and functions, we will use SQL variables a lot. Remember, there are two types of SQL variables. Local variables are in effect or are in scope only in the session they are defined. On the other hand, global variables are in effect or in scope in all the concurrent sessions. Local variables start with one @sign. Global variables start with two @signs. When we define a stored procedure, we can define parameters. Parameters can be either input or output. Input parameters can allow us to pass values to the stored procedure so that the stored procedures can process them. On the other hand, output parameters can be used by the stored procedure to pass the processing results back to us. We use the SQL exec command to execute a stored procedure, and we provide parameters here. All of the SQL statements highlighted in yellow here must be executed together as a group. The reason is that we want to make sure that the variables, when they are needed, will still be in scope or will be in effect. When we become more skilled with SQL programming, we can use try-catch to handle errors that will make our code more robust. Now, let's look at SQL functions. There are two types of SQL functions. Scalar functions return a single value. Table-valued functions return a table. When we define a function, we also define parameters. And then we specify what will be returned by the function using the returns keyword. Within the function, the last statement is the return statement to return the value back to us. We execute a function by using the SQL select statement. We provide the parameter. Some people call the parameter here as an argument. Now let's look at a table-valued function. When we define a table-valued function, we define the table structure which will be returned by the function. Again, we have the return statement at the end, but we don't specify the table name. We use a table-valued function with the select statement, and the table-valued function can be put after the from keyword. We specify the arguments or the parameters here. In this table-valued function, we do not define the table structure. The table structure will be defined by the select statement here. Here is another look at a simple while statement. We will need this for the lab. Remember, when we define a while statement, we must define a way so that SQL Server knows what to check and when to stop the while loop. Otherwise, we may end up having an endless while loop which will run forever. Lab 5 question is listed here. Let's work on it and submit the answer to Canvas. Lastly, don't forget about the useful links here. Also, your books have a lot additional supplemental information as well. This concludes Lab 5.